Hey everybody, I just got home. I had to work today, and since we adjusted the clocks for daylight savings time, by the time I got home about 4:30 it was already getting dark outside, and I worked as quickly as I could using the Oliver and the mini crane attachment. For those of you who haven't seen the mini crane, I'm afraid it's kind of dark, you're not going to see it, but that's why I didn't film that part of me getting this stuff down here, just because it was kind of dark outside. And then I had to leave again, go pick up the kiddies, and also it's Tuesday and it's time to vote, so I had to go do my my patriotic duty and vote. And now finished homework with the kids, and I'm down here and I've got to get this stuff in so I can shut this door, because even though it was really mild today, it got up into the 50s, which is unusual for November, beginning of November. It is going to get cooler overnight, so I got to get this door closed. So right now I've got the turret and ram as an assembly is actually hanging. It's actually hanging from the chain fall, which is attached to the end of the mini crane. And let's see if I can get a light on that. Yeah, forget it. It's too dark out there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the Harbor Freight shop crane here into position and get that knee out of the way, get that in here, and then I can work on lowering the turret and ram assembly down the ramp. I wish I had another strap, but I don't, so this is going to be a little tricky because I can't get the legs of the crane here to obviously go out the door. Alright, I don't have my elevation screw assembly on there yet, and I'm going to want to clean this up more. So I'm probably going to clean this up before I put it on there, because if I try and clean it on there, I'm just going to end up washing stuff and dirt all over my pedestal that I cleaned last night. So for right now, I'm just going to wheel this over towards the wall, park it out of the way, so I have room to maneuver the shop crane here to get the turret and ram assembly in, so I can get this door closed. Okay, I'm going to leave that chain on there, because I don't think I'm going to need that chain, because I think once I get this turret down this ramp onto the solid ground, I think I'll be able to undo the come along and lift it from the sling. The way I had to get this sling around here, I had to use the chain as part of the actual way that I attach this. So I think that chain on there is going to be too short. So I'm going to have to, let's see, find another way to rig this somehow. Let's see. It's starting to get chilly down here already. Alright, I got this board across the legs there. I'm going to lower it down onto the legs, because I'm going to need to disconnect it, because I've got to figure out a better way to rig it so that it's more level. And then also, of course, the other issue being I need to clean it. Alright, I just finished giving it a good cleaning, and got it pretty well clean. I'm going to give some special attention to the ways once I get it up there and on top of the pedestal. It's going to be a lot easier for me to work on it down here on the ground. A couple of spots that are kind of tight and hard to get to that I need easier once it's up. But I even cleaned out, this was just chock full of grease and grime in these notches here, and that's all clean. And so I like the way it looks. And the other thing is, once I have it attached on the pedestal, I'll be able to run the ram, you know, I'll clean this really well, run the ram all the way in one direction, clean it as best I can, run it back out the other way. That way I can get the section of the ways that I can't even see because it's actually currently underneath this clamping area. So now, I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to get a piece of rope and I'm going to try and snake my strap through the inside of here. I think I can actually poke it through this hole down here and get it to come up over here. And then I'll have well, let's see. I already see a problem with that. And that's going to be that. The strap's going to be too long if I do that. Hook it way up here. I'll never get the height that I need, the lifting height that I'm going to need if I do it that way. So I think I should do this with chain. Let's see what I've got. See if I've got a chain that will fit through here. Chain's a little rusty. Get someone to snake that through there. Okay. That's much better. Time to go eat supper. Alright, I've got the boom on the shop crane there set to the extended position, which corresponds to 1 ton of lifting power. I certainly don't believe that that turret and ram, as heavy as it is, weighs more than that. So that should be okay. My chain that I've got looped through there is pretty darn strong. Matter of fact, the weak point in this whole system, I'm thinking, is, well, that bolt, but that was provided with the crane, so that must be rated to take that kind of stress. This chain is heavy enough. This ring right here on this hook might be a little iffy. Well, if I had a ton of cribbing that was stable enough, I could jack this up and put cribbing on it as I go. Go underneath it as I go. But I don't have anywhere near enough blocking to do that. So go slow and easy. My other concern is whether this is going to wheel over far enough so that I can get this thing into position. I guess I should clean that post. That's interesting. Pin actually comes out. It does have grease on it. I'll put a little grease on that. Oh, that's it. Can't move it over any further. That's it for sure. If I extend the boom out to the half-ton position, I might have just enough reach to get it far enough over onto the turret that I could slide it over. I just don't know if I feel comfortable lifting this weight in the half-ton position. Half-ton, I believe, is about 1,000 pounds. Yeah, just Googled it. And I was right. A short ton is 2,000 pounds, a long ton is 2,240. Those are the quick answers. That might not be exactly right, but it still goes to my point, which is that a half ton is going to be about 1,000 pounds. So in the half ton position, this crane should be able to lift 1,000 pounds. As heavy as that is, I have a hard time believing that it weighs that much. I think I read somewhere that this thing weighs about 600 pounds more than a Bridgeport. I'm assuming that means a J-head Bridgeport, not an M-head. If I know the total weight of the entire mill assembled, if I get that, I should be able to estimate what the weight is here. Because I know this is obviously the bulk of the weight. This should be heavier than any of the other components I have so far. But I think this is 2,800 pounds. I may be wrong. Nice thing is the company's still in business, so I was able to go online to their website, download the PDF, which is the specifications for the current 847 mill. Shipping weight is approximately 3,000 pounds. So the whole mill, shipping weight 3,000 pounds, so that might even mean some crating or something. Maybe that's why they say approximate. The only question is the current model 847 that they're selling now as heavy as the earlier ones like this? In other words, not unusual for these machines to lose weight as they get newer, with the cost of steel being so high. Well, let's go on the assumption that the whole machine is 3,000 pounds. That being said, I think it'd be safe to say that this turret and ram doesn't weigh more than 600 or 700. Alright. Boom's extended to the maximum. That's it. It's as far over as I can get it to reach. And you know what? It's not far enough. Hey, there was a leaf stuck to the bottom of that. I gotta clean that mating surface there on the bottom. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go up a little higher so I could put a piece of blocking underneath the front there, so that I can put my hand in there and clean this rear contacting surface. Not sticking my fingers in there under this thing. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, here's my thinking now. I'm thinking, because I'm supporting it by the ram, that if I loosen the locking nuts on the other side, that I could actually rotate that the thing that makes this traverse back. Just a couple inches away. I better tighten this locking nut. What I need to do now is lift it a little more. Oh, idiot. Now, a lot of good putting this turret on is going to do me if I don't put this back in. Duh. this down in there, which involves kind of turning it a certain way to get it down in there. And there's no way I can get this in there now. I've got to get this turret moved off of here far enough to get this thing in. And I don't like, it's not very stable the way it is right now, so I'm going to move that turret back up towards the middle of the ram. Alright. I didn't notice when I took this out. Oop. But this has got a unique shape. It's got... Oh, okay, I see. Alright, this is pretty self-explanatory. There's two bolt holes on these two flanges. So these have to be the flanges that go on the side where the clamping bolts also reside. That's got to be what those are for. Makes no sense. Nope, that ain't it. Would it have killed him to put one little word front? Or an arrow even? I watched a video of a guy on YouTube taking his Wells index mill apart so he could move it. And when he took the head off, I watched him take this piece out. I'm wondering if I watched the video close enough if I could spot which side these wider, which side the part of this that has two holes faces. I think I should go try and find out. Well, I found the video online that I was talking about, and unfortunately the guy doesn't show the point where he disassembled it and where this was and what position this was in when he took it out. All he shows is as he's putting it back in, he shows how it goes in. He has a lot of trouble getting it in, and he says, well, it really only goes one way. Problem is, no matter how you get it in, once it's in there, you can spin it to any position you want. And so that's not exactly a telltale sign. But I measured the distance from these two holes, between these two holes, and it's 8 3/4 inches. And then when I measured the distance between this hole and this hole, it's also 8 3/4 inches. So I said, well, okay, I'm sunk. The distance is the same, so that's not going to help me out. Until I noticed that this hole and this hole aren't the holes that are used. It's these two holes. When I look up underneath this turret and measure the distance of the holes, I notice the holes on this side are much closer than the holes on that side. So what we've got is, on this side of the turret, let me grab the camera and show you. So the distance between these two holes is 8 3/4 inches, just like what I'm getting between the two single holes. But on the other side, the two turret clamping bolt holes are closer together to allow for the clamping nuts for the ram assembly. They're only 7 inches apart on center, or roughly. Point is that they're closer together. That's why this thing is designed the way it is. So that being said, now I know that this thing has to rotate, has to be in here like this, with the two holes, the two ears that have double holes in them have to be on that side, so that I can use the inner holes, which are about 7 inches apart. So now I am finally ready to put this thing back on.